Alright, so the plan now is to get the VQ30 mounted into the Miata's engine bay. Now that's going to pose two major problems. One of those being the oil pan, as it does not comply with the Miata steering rack or the Miata subframe whatsoever. In fact, it's completely opposite. And the other one being the engine mounts. The engine mounts on the VQ30 are set up for a front-wheel drive drivetrain, and obviously that's not what we're doing. The Miata's engine mounts are completely different, so I'm going to have to fabricate a set of engine mounts that are going to kind of work with both, or maybe mount it to the Miata in a completely different way than what is normally stock. So I'll be finding that out really quickly.
Oh no, not this song. Oh, this is like the most annoying song ever. Number 9 large, and number 6 with extra dip.
test fitted the VQ30 a couple nights ago. One of the biggest holdups was the intake manifold and the EGR valve. I kind of already knew the intake manifold was going to be a problem, and I was never planning on using the stock Maxima intake manifold anyway, because the throttle body would go right into the firewall, which is not going to work, especially for a turbo setup. So I'm getting a Pathfinder intake manifold, which should fit and should reroute the intake and the throttle body. And the EGR valve isn't going to stay anyway, so I pulled those things off, and I'm going to try and test fit again without an intake manifold and with no EGR valve and see if that helps clearancing issues. Unfortunately, we still have a coolant passage which goes off the back of the engine, which might get in the way, but I still think it'll be okay. And there's not going to be many ways around that. It's going to be what it is going to be because those go into the cylinder heads. Speaking of Pathfinder, the oil pan is a Pathfinder oil pan, and I'll be using a Pathfinder intake manifold. Now those are off of a VQ35, but they bolt on to the VQ30. I have to kind of give credit to a guy by the name of VQ Miata on YouTube, who has done a couple VQ35 swaps, and he said, you know, that's what he uses, is a VQ35 oil pan off of a Nissan Pathfinder. And then from that knowledge, I found out that it also fits on the VQ30, and that the Pathfinder's intake manifold also fits on the VQ30, and it's completely routed different. So that kind of solved two of my troubles. I will link his channel in the description below. Definitely gonna have to do something about these seal lines. They're the next big thing getting in the way. Now right here and right here are the heater core lines for the Maxima. Now the way this is going to sit in the Miata's engine bay, we're not going to need them to wrap around the backside of the engine. In fact, it's just going to need to travel along the side of the VQ right here. So I'm going to reroute these, and that'll save up some space for clearance in the back, as this is the farthest thing that sticks out right now, and it's not needed.